We have made over $18,000 last month launching new coaching programs, and in this video I'll show you the exact step-by-step blueprint of the foolproof way of selling to your audience. And this blueprint is the exact blueprint, again, that has allowed us and our clients to collect over $18,000 last month. You can see a couple of the Stripe screenshots over here, just for a little social proof that I'm not just talking in the air about something that I have no experience with. This is something that we have tried, tested, and have proven. So on today's agenda, as the first step, first of all, we will be defining what your ICP, your ideal client profile is. It's probably not what you think it is. The step two will be, what does your audience actually want and need. Said in this one, there will be no guesses, just facts. And the third step will be how to package everything into your offer, into actually defining what the activation points of your clients will be and how you will get them there. And then the +1 step will be your next steps to domination and what you have to do from here in order to implement it, get the most eyeballs possible on your offer and get people to actually convert. So let's start out with the typical way how an online coach or someone trying to launch an offer, a content creator, consultant would go about this process. So first of all, they obviously have an audience. You can see all the people over here who are screaming off the top of their lungs that they want something, they want why. But then you, as the creator, coach, let's just say that you are the coach. You are the coach and you are trying to determine what your audience wants. And unfortunately, most of the time, most of the people trying to launch a program, they single out one or two people and then they draw conclusions from those types of people, although the majority of their audience wants something slightly or drastically different. I'll be showing you an exact case study over here, how that can go horribly wrong and how you can prevent it from happening, evidently. So what we want to have is sort of like a situation like here, where you have a full view of your audience so that your viewpoint actually encapsulates all of the people in your audience that you want to talk to in the market. If you don't have an audience just yet, then just think of this as the market, as, just random people on the street that you could consider as leads, and essentially you taking a look at them, asking them what they truly want instead of just assuming. So let's start out with step number 1. What's your ICP? Now, you might have an impression of your ICP, but success lies in the details. And you might think that your audience are X people who want to do Y, when in reality a good chunk of your audience is just Z people who want to do Y, or it's X people, so you guessed the type of people correctly who you're talking to, but they want to do K instead of Y. Now, you might be asking yourself, how could this come to be? So, for example, in this situation, your assumption, you are focusing on, let's take weight loss, for example. You are focusing on the exact mechanisms that you would be using to get your clients to a certain benefit. But in reality, your client doesn't really care if you're using the carnivore diet, the keto diet, or whatever it may be that you are offering them. But they only care about the result, about actually losing weight. So this could be an instance where a discrepancy between what your audience actually wants and what you think they want lies. To find out these little things, you would do complete market research. So let me give you a quick example. So one previous projects, by the way, this was probably the craziest market research that we have ever done. The initial assumption was something like the following. It was an online therapy offer, and the assumption was that people, the ideal client of ours, are people with an avoidant attachment style. That's a psychological term that's a certain type of person that exists. You know, they react to certain type of things a little bit differently than other attachment styles. So let's say that the people with an avoidant attachment style probably in a relationship that they don't want to lose, and their partner has probably said, you have this problem, now fix it. We have identified three major assumptions in this statement over here. The first one is that people have an avoidant attachment style. Then the second one is that they are probably in a relationship, so assumption number 2. And then the last one is their partner probably said that they have this problem, so this is assumption number 3. And then we dissected this into 3 different hypotheses. We took hypothesis number 1, hypothesis number 2, and then we had hypothesis number 3. As you can see over here, the assumption number 1 was that people who watch the videos have an avoidant attachment style. Then hypothesis number 2 was the people who watch the videos are in a relationship that they don't want to lose. There you go. And then the third one was their partner has probably said, you have this problem, now fix it. And there we go. So there are our 3 hypotheses. From there, we developed the method of testing, which was Instagram posts or DMs, and DMs, actually we use both, asking people how they know about the avoidant attachment style. Then, you know, you can ask them, I'm an avoidant myself, my partner is avoidant, just interested in this topic, and so on and so forth. The same here, and then the same here. You can pause the video to see the exact type of questions that we asked them. And from there, we constructed these stories like this. And the most shocking thing that we found is that not 1, not 2, but essentially all of our hypotheses were disproven in one way or another. So let me show you exactly how that went down. So our assumption, as mentioned earlier, we assumed that most people were avoidant. So this is the assumption. And in reality, what reality showed us is that most people actually have a different type of attachment style. And we would not have gotten to this conclusion without posting these stories, without first formulating what exactly our assumptions are. So I see a lot of coaches a little bit lost as to, you know, who exactly their ICP is. And what I always tell them is just to formulate a clear person, formulate your hypothesis, your assumption. It does not matter if it's right or wrong, just formulate an assumption, and then that you can actually test, because then you can compare and contrast reality to your assumptions. And then if you are analytical and you don't twist and turn the results to make it work for you, for your initial assumption, then you can get valuable data from that. So that's also what we did here. And now quickly going to the second and third. So here our initial assumption was, as you can see, is that people who watch the videos are in a relationship that they don't want to lose. So they are in a relationship. Now, here we realized that most people who are in a relationship, they are actually with an avoidant and want to make it work. So it's not an avoidant trying to save the relationship, but people with avoidant people, so in a relationship with these types of people who want to help them externally or want to possibly improve themselves. So this was an incredible shift in the messaging that we had to do. And then the third hypothesis, as I already mentioned, the third one was that their partner has probably said, you have this problem, now fix it. And from here, we obviously assumed the first one was we regularly talk about it. This would have been the proof of our sort of hypothesis, or at least we have talked about it before. But as it turned out, with a majority, people never talk about attachment at home. That's 46% of the audience, of the sample size that we've gotten. So here is the actual result of the hypothesis test, which turned out to be hypothesis 1 to be disproven, hypothesis 2 to be disproven, hypothesis 3 also was disproven. Now, after this shocker, obviously we had to dig a little bit further. So first of all, we analyzed the Instagram analytics. This is a very quick and simple way to see who is following you if you are, for example, trying to promote your stuff to an Instagram audience. So first of all, you would be looking at the location, gender, and age. From there, you can infer similar psychographics based on your Instagram stories, and you also see the demographics very clearly outlined over there. And here comes the result. Our actual ICP is people struggling with insecure attachment who want to build deep and fulfilling relationships in a relationship or single. So all of the parts that I marked with this bold, so people struggling with insecure attachment and or single, so this part, these two parts were things that we would not have realized if we did not get it from our market research. So the first one, we have already found that one out. So we already saw that most people don't necessarily have an avoidant attachment style. They have more generally, they just have problems with attachment styles in their life. That means that they are rather anxious. So not really on the avoidant side, but both parts of the spectrum, because it's a spectrum. Obviously, one side is anxious, one side is avoidant. I will not get into details what the description of both are, but we have developed this new insight that our market is actually much more broader than we initially expected. So the Instagram followers in that sense. And the second part, the or single, that's the one that's coming in step 2. So what does your audience want and need? First of all, you have to find their current state and their desired state, because the only thing that separates them from their current state and their desired state are actually the wants, desires, and needs. So if you build a mechanism that gives them sort of like a bridge, and that bridges the gap between their current state and desired state, that means that they will get access to all of the wants, desires, and needs that they want. Our questionnaire looked like the following. You can send this to people in the DMs. You can send this to people on a type form. So just posting a story saying that, you are working with one person for free if they fulfill certain criteria, and then just posting the story, give people a little bit of an incentive to actually fill out this type form, this questionnaire, and then you can gather as many responses as you want to, so that you know exactly who is in your audience and what your audience wants and needs. So let's just start out with this one. The first one, we started out by why did you start on your journey? So this is sort of like the current state. Then we were finding out the ultimate goal, which is the desired state. So it's the DS, there we go. And what are the roadblocks? So what is actually standing in their way to getting to their desired states? These are the roadblocks. And then we just asked about the timeline, the desired timeline, so how fast they expect results. This would then give us a good baseline for our messaging later on, so our offer timeline. And the fifth question was, what have you tried so far? So this is sort of like exploring all the dead bodies that are laying here, all of the modalities, all of the spiritual coaches, all of the bad therapists that they have tried so far that just did not work out for them, that they hated, absolutely were frustrated by. And by the way, this is also something that question number 6 explores in more detail. So after you've put together this questionnaire, essentially discovering their current state, discovering their desired state, and what the roadblocks are, so that you can include this in your messaging and also make your offer seem like the following. So you want to make your offer seem like something that can elevate them above the roadblocks and take them to their desired state. That is what you would be opting for. Now, from here on, you would just be opting to ask your followers. So obviously, if you have a Typeform qualification form or like a Typeform questionnaire here, that is an automated process. But what we like to do specifically is actually reach out to people personally and get people to DM us. And then from the coach's account, we like to ask them these questions personally, so you can see a full Google Drive folder of all of the screenshots, all of the responses. And we would then use all of this data, and then we would formulate our own conclusions and then use ChatGPT for data aggregation. I'm not giving out the prompt just yet, what ChatGPT you have to write into it, but essentially what we did, we put all of this market research into one document. So there was this market research document which had all of the lines of market research feedback that we did get. Then we took this market research document, we fed it into ChatGPT, and then from ChatGPT, we asked it specific questions about the offer. So we were asking ChatGPT about the average answer that people gave. So what's the average answer for number 1? What's the average answer for number 2, for number 3, 4, 5? And then we got a good idea of the average of everything. So this was initially the result of the market research. And then from there, we can fairly assume that once we know the average answer of everyone, then we have an impression that actually encapsulates your whole audience, your whole market. So step number 3 is packaging everything into your offer. So to make everything look nice, to have everything in one place and make it graspable for people, you would essentially start with the offer statement. This is outlining the statement, I help ideal client profile, which we have defined above, as you have probably seen in this video. Then go from current state, which we have asked in a question, to desired state with unique method and without common pain point in offer timeline. So this common pain point is essentially the roadblock that we were asking about in the questionnaire. So that's essentially the third question over there. And, the current state we have asked about, the desired state we have asked about, the ideal client profile we have found out in the who is your ICP section of this video. And then the unique method is just something that makes you stand out. It is unique to your brand. It's your mechanism that no one else has, no one has access to. And that is something that I will be diving deeper into in another video. But once you have the statement, the only two things left to do is essentially defining all the activation points. An activation point is a point where every single client has to go through or has to reach in order to be successful and reach the desired result. So these are non-negotiable things that a client has to go through, experience, or in their journey in working with you in order to be successful. So let's start with, for example, these are our own activation points. So this is HDM, High Day Media. If you're watching this video, by the way, on the link below, you can see a video going over each of these, how we implement them, and whom we have already implemented these for. So first of all, in our activation points, the client has to have a clear, concise, appealing offer. Second of all, they have to have has a scalable, profitable lead mechanism for turning eyeballs into qualified booked appointments. Third, the client has to have a scalable and profitable traffic mechanism for getting eyeballs to the lead mechanism. And then fourth, they have to have sales skills or a full team that allows them to convert booked appointments into cash and actually, get people in the front door and buy from them instead of just, goofing around. And the fifth is they have to have an easily readable, understandable data source so that we can make decisions based on data. So these are the activation points. And how do you actually get people to those activation points? So how do you get them there? It's done by the mechanisms, because the mechanisms are ways that you help every single client reach each and every activation point. So whenever someone comes into our system, first of all, they get onboarded, and then we figure out how exactly we are getting them to each and every activation point. And these are done by the mechanisms. So for example, we do the market research from a conversation with our client or sample from the audience. So that process looks similar to the following. If you have a drastically different source of traffic to Instagram, for example, then it would differ a little bit, but essentially this is what it looks like. And then going on, obviously, you can see a couple of other mechanisms over there. So we place setters in our clients' DMs. We help them build out the GHL sub-account and welcome sequence and call flows. Then we help them create the sales copy blueprint and offer, and so on and on. So these are the three essential key steps for you to do market research correctly, then make the right conclusions from your market research, and then use that data to construct an offer and the deliverables, mechanisms, and activation points that people actually want to buy. So yeah, I forgot to mention, by the way, that the mechanisms are something that you would be mentioning in your messaging, in your sales copy, on your landing page, in your video sales letters, and stuff like that. So let's get to the fourth step, which I have promised you in the beginning, which is +1 your next steps to domination. So the +1 step, the fourth step, is get more people to see the offer and convert them and optimize the fulfillment. Whenever someone gets onboarded here at High Day Media, so whenever someone becomes our client, they get specialized materials about all of the above, get a custom game plan and systems for their, not only their market research and offer, their service delivery, their funnel sales, but also traffic, with full content SOPs, helping them create high quality and converting content consistently. Then obviously we also help them build out the automation, high ticket sales process, and so on. So if you are interested in exploring how these things could be implemented for your specific business and how you could perfect this market research strategy for your specific business, then go to the link below. It's the first link. It's highdaymedia.com. And if you like our landing page, if you like what we do, if it could be interesting to possibly see if there's an opportunity to work together, then go to the link below and schedule a short call, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you there. But if not, then I hope that you enjoyed this video, you learned something new, and I wish you a nice day. Bye.